The stars winked, twinkled, and glimmered above him as if they had been waving, greeting him with a silent, yet warm welcome. The cold, difficult ground below his return felt oddly comforting, almost like a long-misplaced buddy that he had in no way absolutely permit pass of. A gentle breeze caressed his cheek, its gentle touch tingling his pores and skin like a lover's whispers in the useless of night time. The air smelled of not anything specifically, yet the whole lot seemed to blend collectively in a harmonious symphony of scents that he couldn't pretty vicinity. He knew he changed into no longer by myself. The aliens have been there, surrounding him, analyzing him with interest and a hint of awe in their multicolored eyes. Their muscular, yet sleek paperwork appeared to glow in the faint mild, their chitinous exoskeletons shimmering like polished obsidian. They towered over him, their huge wings folded neatly behind their backs, their couple of fingers flexing and unflexing in what he may want to most effective count on was a few type of alien gesture of recognize. One of them, larger and greater imposing than the others, stepped forward. Its mandibles clicked because it spoke in a language he failed to understand. However, by hook or by crook he knew it became asking him a query. He pressured himself to sit up, wincing as pain shot via his frame from injuries he had sustained in conflict. As he raised his head, he met the gaze of the alien warrior, and for a second, he felt an ordinary feel of kinship with it. It turned into then that he realized that this become no longer the stop, however as an alternative the beginning of something new. Something exceptional. I am called Jason, he stated, his voice slightly audible over the wind. And I am ready to fight beside you, to guide you to victory. The alien warrior's many-colored eyes widened in surprise, and for a brief second, it appeared nearly human. It bowed its head respectfully, and when it spoke, its voice became deep and resonant, like the rumbling of remote thunder. Your name might be remembered, Jason, it stated. From at the moment forth, you will be known as the human who became a legend among alien warriors. The different extraterrestrial beings round him roared their approval, their powerful voices echoing through the night. And as they did so, Jason felt a surge of pleasure and backbone rout through him, washing away the final remnants of worry and depression. He had discovered his reason among these unusual, superb creatures, and collectively, they could change the course of history. The alien warrior who had first addressed him stepped apart, revealing a dazzling weapon encrusted with gemstones and embellished with feathers. It changed into an honor seldom bestowed upon a mortal, and Jason knew that he was selected for this gift because of his bravery and his skill. He reached out hesitantly, his hand trembling with anticipation as he grasped the hilt. The weight of the weapon turned into nearly overwhelming, however he felt experience of power coursing through him as he lifted it into the air. Jason, we will name you Commander, the alien warrior announced, its voice booming like thunder. You shall lead us to victory, and your name will be etched into the annals of history beside our personal. Tears welled up in Jason's eyes as he bowed his head in gratitude. He had by no means imagined that he would find such honor and motive among the stars, amongst beings so extraordinary from himself. But here he was, standing before them as one of their personal, equipped to combat and die for a cause that become greater than himself. As the night time wore on, Jason and the extraterrestrial beings skilled together, studying every other's approaches and customs. He taught them human approaches and strategy, while they in flip showed him the secrets of their effective generation and their mastery of the skies. They sparred and drilled, guffawing and cheering as they pushed each other to their limits. And with every passing day, Jason grew an increasing number of confident that they were unstoppable. Finally, the day came after they have been referred to as a pawn to stand their first war. The enemy forces had been huge and terrifying, their numbers stretching as a long way as the eye could see. But Jason failed to hesitate. He drew his weapon and took his location at the top of the alien formation, his coronary heart pounding with anticipation and determination. The warfare was long and brutal, the air thick with the stench of blood and burning flesh. But Jason and his newfound allies fought valiantly, their mixed may unmatched by using something the enemy had ever confronted. And whilst it was throughout, while the ultimate enemy soldier lay lifeless at their toes, Jason looked around and noticed the faces of his comrades, their eyes packed with awe and recognize. They had done it. They had gained. As they celebrated their victory, Jason knew that this became only the start. He had been given a second risk at lifestyles, and he meant to make the most of it. He would lead those extraterrestrial beings to glory, and together, they could forge a brand new future for themselves and for all people who observed in their footsteps. For Jason, the human who became a legend among alien warriors, there might be no turning again. As the days was weeks after which into months, Jason and his alien comrades endured their relentless march throughout the galaxy, leaving a trail of defeated enemies in their wake. Their legend grew with each warfare, and soon, even the most remote civilizations had heard of the human warrior who had risen from obscurity to end up a living legend most of the stars. Jason found himself continuously amazed via the generation and the tradition of the aliens he fought alongside. Their ships had been faster and greater effective than anything he could have imagined, and their weapons may want to degree whole cities with a single shot. Yet regardless of their superior generation, they in no way lost sight of the cost of braveness, honor, and loyalty. These were the characteristics that certainly set them other than the other races they encountered, and it turned into those features that made Jason proud to name them his friends. One day, as they have been accomplishing a fierce struggle with an enemy fleet, Jason's deliver turned into struck by using a stray plasma bolt. He turned into thrown from his chair and knocked subconscious. When he woke up, he discovered himself in a clinical bay aboard an alien vessel. The wound had been tended to, and he was now recuperating. The Deliver's AI, a feminine voice that sounded just like a smart and being concerned human matron, knowledgeable him that they had won the conflict and that his presence became now not important. He had fulfilled his duty, and he turned into now unfastened to go back to his home planet if he so chose. As Jason taken into consideration his options, he knew that he ought to never sincerely pass again to his antique lifestyles. The studies he had shared with the extraterrestrial beings had changed him irrevocably, and he could not imagine returning to a world in which he did not belong. Instead, he decided to stay with the aliens, to keep fighting along them and to study from them. They had become his family, and he could not abandon them now. With the war over, Jason and his newfound alien-owned family settled right down to explore the galaxy together, searching out new worlds to conquer and new civilizations to befriend. They confronted many greater demanding situations and hardships alongside the way, but via it all, Jason by no means wavered in his clear-up. He might always be the human who became a legend among alien warriors, and he would do the whole lot in his electricity to make sure that their story persevered for so long as there had been stars to guide them. As they journeyed ever deeper into the vastness of space, information of Jason's exploits started to spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Stories of his bravery, his foxy, and his unwavering loyalty to those he taken into consideration his pals became mythical, and soon, even the maximum remote civilizations had heard of the human warrior who had risen from obscurity to grow to be a living legend a number of the stars. One day, as they had been making a forestall at a bustling space station, Jason became approached with the aid of an enigmatic girl with placing features and an air of authority about her. She recognized herself as a consultant of the Galactic Council, an agency that had been watching Jason and his alien comrades with incredible interest. Impressed by what they had seen, they decided to reach out to Jason, supplying him a function as their ambassador and emissary to different races in the galaxy. Jason became each commemorated and hesitant. He had grown relatively attached to his alien-owned family and turned into loath to leave them, but he also knew that this turned into an opportunity to make a difference on a virtually galactic scale. After a great deal consideration, he commonplaced the provide, promising to do everything in his power to serve the Galactic Council and to help bring peace and know-how to the various peoples of the galaxy. As Jason began his new role as ambassador, he located himself continuously visiting from world to global, meeting with leaders and diplomats from each corner of the galaxy. His precise angle as each an alien and a human made him a useful asset to the Galactic Council, and his legendary repute among the extraterrestrial beings he had once fought along handiest added to his charm. He quickly became one of the maximum respected and influential figures in the galaxy, and his have an effect on turned into felt a ways and extensive. One of Jason's first major initiatives as ambassador became to set up a network of intergalactic peacekeeping forces, drawn from the ranks of the maximum honorable and successful warriors from every species. He saw this as a way to save you the forms of senseless war and destruction that had plagued the galaxy for millennia, and he labored tirelessly to garner guide for his plan from the various leaders he met. Slowly, however clearly, Jason's imaginative and prescient began to take form. Warriors from all corners of the galaxy got here collectively beneath his banner, pledging their allegiance to the motive of peace and know-how. And as they educated and fought together, forging bonds of friendship and appreciate that transcended species and tradition, Jason knew that he had found his true calling. He became not simply the human who became a legend among alien warriors. He was now an image of desire and solidarity for the complete galaxy. Years succeeded, and Jason endured his work as ambassador, never forgetting the aliens who had taken him in and made him certainly one of their personal. As the peacekeeping forces grew stronger and extra numerous, the frequency of interstellar struggle started to dwindle, and the galaxy slowly but simply began to heal. And all of the whilst, Jason's legend persevered to grow, inspiring limitless others to follow in his footsteps and to paintings closer to a brighter, greater peaceful future for all who called the galaxy domestic. Eventually, as Jason neared the quit of his long and eventful life, he looked again on all that he had executed with a feel of profound satisfaction and gratitude. He had surely made a difference inside the galaxy, and his legacy would live on lengthy after he turned into gone. As he took his very last breath, surrounded by way of the pals and comrades he had made during his journey, Jason knew that he had certainly lived an existence worth of legend. And in the end, that turned into all that truly mattered. The news of Jason's passing unfolded like wildfire across the celebrities, achieving each nook of the galaxy. Tributes and eulogies poured in from international leaders, warriors, and commonplace folk alike, celebrating the life of a man who had come to encompass the very spirit of peace, expertise, and harmony. His funeral procession was attended by representatives from each species inside the galaxy, a testimony to the far-accomplishing have an effect on of a man who had once been just a simple human soldier from Earth. As the years exceeded, Jason's memory began to fade, but his effect at the galaxy did not. The peacekeeping forces he had helped create continued to grow and prosper, serving as a shining example of what can be performed while specific races and cultures put aside their differences and work together in the direction of a commonplace aim. His name was spoken with reverence and awe, and memories of his exploits had been passed down from generation to generation, inspiring endless others to observe in his footsteps and to attempt for a brighter, extra harmonious future for all who known as the galaxy domestic. And so, Jason's legend endured to stay on, not simply because the human who became a legend among alien warriors, but as an image of desire, solidarity, and the enduring power of the human spirit to have an effect on fine alternate within the face of reputedly insurmountable odds. His story served as a beacon of light in the darkness, guiding endless others in the direction of a brighter tomorrow, and proving that even the smallest of sparks can ignite a blaze that will burn brightly for all eternity. As time exceeded, new generations of aliens and people alike came to know and revere Jason's story, their imaginations captivated by using stories of his courage, determination, and selflessness. They constructed monuments and shrines in his honor, and stated his heroic deeds with awe and reverence, inspiring endless greater to follow in his footsteps and to try for global where differences have been celebrated rather than exploited. Whilst his legend grew ever greater remote from the fact of the man himself, it remained grounded inside the fundamental truths that had guided Jason in the course of his existence: the belief in the inherent well-worth and dignity of all sentient beings, and the conviction that, collectively, we should achieve anything we set our minds to. These truths transcended time and area, resonating with humans across the galaxy, and serving as a steady reminder that, no matter how full-size and unforgiving the universe may seem, there'll always be folks that combat for better the following day. So it changed into that Jason's story became now not merely the tale of one man's lifestyles, however a dwelling, breathing symbol of the indomitable human spirit, a testimony to our potential for romance, courage, and selfless sacrifice. And as long as there had been individuals who remembered and venerated that spirit, Jason's legacy would continue to stay on, for all time etched into the hearts and minds of all who known as the Galaxy home.